The Canadian government has placed snipers on rooftops to stop the peaceful trucker convoy. In my book, that's not a terrorist threat. That is terrorism. Hey guys, before we get into today's video, I want to give a real quick shout out to today's sponsor, Virtual Shield VPN. And the reason I promote it, guys, is because I use it every single day and I know that it works, and I've proven it in videos in the past. If you use the link in the description, you're going to get 50% off, and that's going to help you protect your identity, your activity, and your location anytime you're surfing on the net. That link is in the description below.
As I speak, hashtag Ambassador Bridge Blockade is being trended on Twitter, highly trended. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of people on both sides of the issue. Maybe there are people who are neutral, but either people are super against it or they're super for it from what I've seen. This person right here says, my husband has lost work as a result of the Ambassador Bridge blockade. She says, people, you've been duped by a foreign-backed anarchist movement. Anarchist. No government backs anarchy, because anarchy is no rules and no rulers. Anarchy is not chaos. If you just look up the etymology of the word, it's anarchon, without rulers. That's all it means. Foreign-backed anarchist movement with ties to white supremacist fascists, not truckers. You've done nothing but embarrass the country and hurt fellow Canadians. Go home. That's what she says. This says Canada, Ambassador Bridge, 7 p.m. court injunction deadline came and went. Trudeau and Biden now look out of peaceful options, or out of peaceful options. Lift the mandates or attack their own people. Let's hope it's the former. So we know we're going to hear directly from the truckers movement and the people who are the organizers and who are actually funding the trucker movement through the Give, Send, Go app. And that's another story, but we're going to hear from them later on in the show. But to boil it down from the truckers' perspective, or at least the people who are involved in this and the organizers, they're like, hey, we're just out here redressing our government. This is our grievance against the government. We don't want the mandates. We want the mandates lifted. We don't want restrictions on our lives, on our freedom, on our movement. We don't want those. And if you're going to give us those, then, hey, we're going to go ahead and restrict movement. But my question to you is, are you for it or are you against it? If you're for it, why are you for it? What are the positives in your mind and what are the negatives? If you're against it, what are the positives and what are the negatives? Because people are, seriously, this is causing some serious division, as if the division wasn't there. But fake stream media is, of course, trying to spin this to make the truckers look bad. And we're talking about leftist media specifically. The Trudeau administration is trying to make this look bad. The Canadian police force is trying to make this look bad. So if those government functionaries are trying to make this thing look bad, it almost makes you scratch your head and go, well, we know law enforcement lies, we know the media lies, and we know administrations of any government, no matter if it's Canada, America, wherever, they lie. So if they're liars, the liars are telling us, hey, you need to be against the truckers. Well, that what the media and what the government, what the police are saying doesn't hold much weight as far as credibility. If you're a rational thinking person who has any idea of what's going on and what has gone on in history. This person says, remember, estimates at Ambassador Bridge blockade put the number at around 75 people, 12 or so large rigs. This is not a mass movement, this person says. It's a guerrilla-style group of right-wing insurgents backed by wealthy far-right extremists attacking democracy. If we just take the definition of Benjamin Franklin about democracy seriously, that it's two wolves and a lamb deciding what to have for dinner, or if we look at what some of the founding fathers said, it's basically the tyranny of the majority, then shouldn't democracy be attacked? I mean, wouldn't it be the right thing to do to attack a majority rule scenario? Wouldn't it be right to attack the tyranny of the majority? To take it down a notch or two, maybe? Exploiting the plan organized partial shutdown of the U.S. economy in the second quarter, according to James Bullard from the St. Louis Federal Reserve. So you got this right here. And this is actually a good little comic if it's applied correctly. Everyone supports us. That's what every president of the United States goes, the Americans want this. It's like, hey, stop speaking for me. I don't want this. Don't group all Americans or don't group all Canadians or whoever together in one pot, because it's likely that the majority of the people are against what you're saying the people are for. It's crazy how they feel like they've got a blank check to speak for you. Everyone support us, and then it says, no, they effing don't. Now I understand exactly how people in the U.S. felt on 1/6. We're witnessing an attempted coup in slow motion. Don't kid yourself that this is about Convoy 1984 by George Orwell. It's about bringing down the Trudeau government, and it always has been. Well, if that's what it's about, what would be wrong with that? We know Trudeau is decidedly against individual liberties, so why would it be wrong to be against that? To be against that administration and specifically that guy? Doesn't seem like it would be. Truckers for freedom, like hell they are. They're bought and paid for stooges of fascist billionaires. Okay, if you're going to make that assertion, just go ahead and prove it. Accusation without substantiation is the height and essence of ignorance. So I hate it when people make this kind of statement right here that they can't back. Being libertarian says all you have to do is lift the mandates. This person right here says, dear white guys, police use of force is pretty standard fare for indigenous blockades. This person right here says, I don't care who you're mad at or what you don't agree with or whose attention you're trying to get or what point you think you're making, but taking part in the Ambassador Bridge blockade doesn't make you a hero. It makes you an a-hole. And there's a lot of people commenting on here. They're getting a lot of likes. This person says, in case there's still any confusion, this is a trucker. Trudeau and Biden stand with the truckers? What? Liberal logic. The 90% of truckers who are VAXX and are also quite annoyed at not being able to do their jobs because of a few nut jobs. Okay, so basically they're saying the majority of the truckers are not with the Freedom Rally, the Freedom Convoy. So that leads us to this right here from the New York Post. Police moving to end Canadian trucker protest after court order. So they got a court order after these people. So that makes me think, okay, we got the government against this blockade. What psychological operation is going on here, if indeed it is a psychological operation? What is it specifically? What should we really be looking at? Because we know that the government, mainstream media, and the police major and specialize in disinformation and distraction. So what are they distracting us from? What do we really need to be looking at? Anti-VAXX mandate truckers who blockaded a bridge linking Ontario and Michigan were packing up their barbecues and taking down their tents Saturday after police moved in to end the 6-day protest. Just after 8 a.m., police in Windsor, Ontario said that they were beginning enforcement of a judge's order issued on Friday night to clear the Ambassador Bridge. And here's what they said. The Windsor Police and its policing partners have commenced enforcement with the emphasis on force. Enforcement. And I'd be derelict in my duty to get out the truth if I didn't echo what not Benjamin Franklin, but George Washington said. Government is not eloquence. It's not reason. It is force, as in law enforcement or police force. And like fire, it's a dangerous servant, fearful master. Enforcement at and near the Ambassador Bridge. We urge all demonstrators to act lawfully and peacefully. As if they weren't. Is there proof that they weren't? Because we know why their GoFundMe page was taken down is because law enforcement got with the Ontario courts and the courts got with GoFundMe, and then GoFundMe went ahead and decided to, in the opinion of some, steal $9 million of the Freedom Trucker Convoy account. We urge all demonstrators to act lawfully and peacefully. Commuters are still being asked to avoid the area affected by the demonstration at this time. The judge's order, combined with a state of emergency declared by Ontario Premier Doug Ford, enabled backups from the Ontario Provincial Police and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police to move in, forming a huge police presence, including snipers on roofs, guys. This is what it's come to. Well, Yeah, you've already addressed your grievances with the government. You've stayed long enough. We're going to declare you an occupation, and because you're an occupation, we're going to get with the courts, and the courts we're going to get with your, your GoFundMe page, and we're going to steal $9 million from you. Which, by the way, it's not just the simple act of the government stealing $9 million from the Trucker Convoy Fund and the Freedom Fund. It's the fact that they stole the money from the willing, voluntary supporters who wanted to give to the cause. That's a lot of money. Snipers on roofs, according to reports on the scene. You've got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Yeah, we're here to stand up to our government. The government goes, nah, it's over. It's over. So they're trying to make a point that there are very few. There was some, they're saying that there's very few. This person says, there are dozens of us, dozens. So this is how some people are trying to spin it, that there's really not that many people on the blockade. This guy right here says, I'll always be on the side of people who march over bridges, not those who block them. Pretty interesting, these different perspectives that everybody has.
While we have time and it still retains some of its perceived value, maybe it'd be a good idea to convert your worthless fiat into valuable, storable food. Don't be the one who waits till the food riots start happening. You don't want to be fighting panicking people in the store over that last jar of peanut butter. At Prepare with High Impact Flicks, you can get up to 3 air and watertight gasket sealed ammo cans, each filled with a 4-week emergency supply. 7 food varieties, 2,000 calories a day, 284 servings, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and each meal comes in a resealable, heavy-duty 4-layered pouch. And it's got a 25-year shelf life. Every order of a 4-week supply gets you $100 off plus free shipping. Here's how simple it is to make. I'm going to cook up some Granny's home-style potato soup. People are going to think I'm a culinary hero. You open the pouch, boil 4.5 cups of water, stir the contents, simmer on low heat for 15 to 20 minutes, take it off the heat, then let it set for 2 to 3 minutes before you serve it up.
Man, this stuff's so good. People are going to think Granny stopped by and filled your kitchen with a whole bunch of love.
Well, if Granny does stop by, she's going to fill your behind with a whole bunch of buckshot if you keep talking with your mouth full. Wipe your dang beard off. It's embarrassing. So maybe convert some of your worthless fiat into valuable food while you still can. Order now and get $100 off of up to 3 4-week emergency food supplies at preparewithhighimpactflix.com. The link is in the description.